Hello, welcome to the 2019-2020 Alum Rock Union School District TCI curriculum maps. These maps have been designed to help you optimize your time in planning your social studies curriculum as you prepare for other preps or in optimizing your experience with the TCI suite. Here we have our Ancient World welcome page with a QR code to quickly access these documents with your own device. We also have links to the other grade level social studies curriculum. When we click the next tab, you'll see that you have the curriculum map with dates along the leftmost column. We have lesson and essential questions, overarching standards, standard substrands, concepts and vocabulary, links to the TCI assessment block or assessment bank for the unit at hand or lesson at hand, and then the lesson slides provided by TCI, again addressing the lesson that you have. Under links 2 and 3, this is a place for teachers to insert their pre-selected recommended activity based on their own preference and external media that they feel would be critical for teaching this lesson. If you look above, we have these plus and minus signs that allow you to expand and collapse desired columns that provide you supplementary resources. This first plus sign shows you the recommended TCI minutes, and I've calculated using some formulas how many days this would approximate the recommended lesson time. On the second tab, we have blueprints that are addressed and supplementary resources provided by the last TCI curriculum map developer. And this is where you would go ahead and look at the various links with the lesson slides already provided for you, and then recommended activities and external media there for you to input. Let's go ahead and look into our first unit. Notice that before every unit starts, there will be a new unit kind of column or row to let you know that a new unit is below. Here's what Unit 1 looks like. We have Early Humans and the Rise of Civilization. It tells you how many lessons are embedded in there, the date range approximate that you would want to consider teaching this unit, and then the quarter or trimester deadlines that fit within the timeline. Again, feel free to review this document and adjust dates as you see necessary based on your prior experience with teaching with TCI, and use the resource links as a place to embed what you want to continue to use as you develop your own curriculum planning. With each lesson, you are provided the lesson title and essential question to guide inquiry in your class. And as I stated before, these links will direct you straight into the assessment that is aligned to the lesson provided. Let's now go ahead and explore the assessment and presentation slide links that have been embedded into this TCI curriculum map. When you scroll over the cell, you'll see a pop-up which leads you to a link. In this case, we're looking at the Investigating the Past, Lesson 1, Unit 1, Early Humans and the Rise of Civilization TCI assessment page. Now I've selected that link, and notice it has Investigating the Past. This tells us that there are 34 questions for this question bank, and TCI has already created 2 tests for you that you can implement without having to decide between the 34 questions provided. There are also 38 other tests that are developed nationally through this question bank. Going back to our page, let's go ahead and see what happens when we select the links to the lesson presentation slides for Investigating the Past in Unit 1, Lesson 1. Again, the link pops up, I select the link, and now I'm directed to all of the lesson materials for Investigating the Past here for Lesson 1. We have our complete lesson guide, which are slides to teach the entire lesson, and then we have all the supplementary resources that are provided online, including a complete lesson guide in Spanish for all of our ELLs and Spanish-speaking students. When we go into the lesson guide here, This is where we'll find the slides, and to exit out and go and review all of the other supplementary materials, we hit lesson guides again, and it will provide all of the teacher materials necessary and provided through TCI to teach Unit 1, Lesson 1, Investigating the Past. Within this window, if you're feeling more comfortable in navigating, you could go ahead and hit this scroll down window. You can find all the other lessons embedded, or you can go back to your TCI guide and select the lessons from this curriculum map. Early hominins. You can go to the assessment page on early hominins. For this, we can see there are 35 questions, 2 TCI tests, and 16 tests developed nationally by other teachers using the TCI curriculum. That's the quick summary on how to use this guide. If you do have any questions, please direct them to Academic Services, where these documents will be managed and updated as any issues or advisements come up during the school year. Thank you. For those of you willing to see the 7th and 8th grade, I'm just going to do a similar exploration of how you can use the 7th and 8th grade documents in a similar fashion. In this case, we're starting with 7th grade, Medieval World and Beyond, but we could again scroll to the other pages or link to the other pages that contain the other grade levels. Again, quick access through a QR code. Reminder up here to make a copy for your full functionality so you can edit and revise this document as you see fit. Go ahead and select the 7th grade tab, and you'll notice the 7th grade resources are set up in a very similar fashion. You have your grouped tabs above. We have our vocabulary blueprints and resources embedded here. We have our resource links. Again, this is a section where teachers can embed the recommended engaging activity where you select from the variety provided by TCI, and then we can direct your external media so you can have it centrally located and housed. You have your concepts and vocabulary and your standards. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and open up Unit 1, Europe during Medieval Times, to explore the resources as they're laid out there. So we have our Lesson 1 with essential question here at the bottom. We have the dates recommended by TCI. Remember, you can go up here and expand to see what's the recommended instructional minutes and over how many days does TCI recommend you teach this lesson. We have the TCI assessment link from Republic to Empire. And now we're in Republic to Empire. We see there's 29 questions in the bank, 2 tests, and 1 test created nationally. And go into the lesson resources. Here we have the pop-up to the presentation. Again, you hit lesson guides if you want to see all of the other resources that exist. You have a variety of activities to choose from, and your complete lesson guide in Spanish. Now, if you've stayed with me for this far, you are now in the last part of the presentation. This is U.S. through Industrial Curriculum Map, again developed here at Academic Services. You have your links to all the other grade levels, social studies curriculum resources and maps below. And we'll go ahead and explore 8th grade just as we did with the others. Again, you have your introductory unit or introductory lessons. You have your grouped columns for access to the information only when you need it. In this case, we have our time and recommended days, essential concepts and vocabulary with the blueprints and resources provided by a previous curriculum map developer. You have your assessment links and your resource links. And again, as a reminder, this TBD is for you to develop what recommended activity you'd like to associate with this lesson and what external media you'll use. As we scroll down, we have all of our units with recommended lesson dates, the lesson numbers in the TCI curriculum, and 2019-2020 Alum Rock School District trimester and quarter deadlines for grading and progress reporting. Let's go ahead and look in Unit 1. Again, we have our Unit 1 Lesson 1, we have our essential question to guide student inquiry. We have the standards, essential concepts, and vocabulary. And we have a link to our TCI test for lesson 1, so let's go ahead and look at that. For this lesson, there are 63 questions you can choose from, 2 pre-created tests, and 12 tests created nationally. Let's go back into lesson resources on the First Americans, Unit 1, Lesson 1. Again, accidentally right-click. Let's make sure to left-click and open up the link here. And we have our lesson guide, which is a slide deck that you can present to your students. Okay, here's your present mode. And remember, you go ahead and select lesson guides to go back to all of the lesson resources for Unit 1, Lesson 1. Remember, this pull-down bar allows you to quickly navigate to the other lessons in the 8th grade curriculum, but if you prefer, you can also go ahead and look at a summary of all those lessons through the curriculum map. And again, how this helps you is you get a quick overview about what it is you need to teach, the essential questions that are embedded before you go into TCI and navigate through their more complex and well-developed resources.